we got Dan from Canada, and he wants to talk about the Landenberg incident in Saskatchewan, Canada. I'm not sure if you know about that one, Eric.
It rings a bell, but I gotta look it up.
It was a UFO incident. Hi, Dan. How are you?
Wow.
I'm doing pretty well. Thanks for taking my call, guys.
Good. Thanks for calling. This is now I didn't look this up. I didn't brush up on it or anything, obviously, because you just called. But wasn't this like a farmer saw several UFOs, right? Wasn't that this incident?
Yeah, he saw a bunch of somethings hovering in a field, and his farm equipment wouldn't start up, and he couldn't drive away, and so he was stuck watching these things until they took off. And when the RCMP investigated, they actually found marks in the soil where something had been, round, circular markings. I guess round and circular is redundant, but yeah.
Yeah, round answer. Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. But I wasn't going to pick on you. Dude, and they had no other explanation for the circular marks?
From what I've found on this story, which I've just been starting to dig into it a little bit, it's unexplained.
Yeah, I don't know. My thing, whenever people ask me about UFOs, when now I started calling them UAPs or whatever, I have a very boring answer for that. Whenever people say, "What do you think about them?" I say, "I think they're unidentified." You know, as the name implies, because we just don't know. I'm not against the existence of aliens. If you ask me, do I think they've ever been to Earth? No, I don't think that. Do I think there's life somewhere else in the universe? It seems just too absurd to not be the case. I don't think Earth is very privileged or special with regard to any physical property that it has to be the only place out of hundreds of billions of known galaxies, each with probably 1 trillion planet-like bodies on them, that this can be the only place life exists. That seems too silly to be true. But that stuff coming here, I just, the whole, the UFO thing, the unidentified things are not the kind of evidence that convinces me of it, because they're just kind of textbook arguments from incredulity. I don't know, therefore aliens.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. And what we have here, like while Planet Peterson was talking, I did a little bit of research into it, and from what it appears is that there was only this one eyewitness, one person. So we're dealing with, the word of one person saying this thing, and I don't know how much we can trust this person. Who, he's just a farmer. I get it. Probably everybody thinks he's an honest guy, but maybe he's doing. Why did he do this? He's not making any money off it. Maybe he's doing it just because he wanted people to remember his name. I mean, that's a lot of people's motivation for a lot of things that they do. I just want to be remembered after I'm gone. And maybe that's what this was. He's going to be, and interestingly enough, what I found out in 2024, the Canadian Mint actually issued a commemorative coin over this incident. So it is being remembered. That's crazy. That's the first time I ever heard of a government officially recognizing a UFO incident. I'm sorry, Dan, what was that?
Yeah. I was going to say it's actually one of several UFO coins the Mint has put out in the last year.
That's really, that is funny. I'd love to see those.
There was this experimental flying saucer made in Canada. It was called the Avro Canada VZ9, and they made it, I think it was like in the 50s or something, but it fits the bill of the description for this incident almost perfectly, except the item, it couldn't like fly up into the sky, which I think that's part of his claim. He watched it and then it flew up, I think. But it looks exactly like it. And I don't know, it seems like the kind of thing that could maybe leave a pattern on the ground like that or whatever. But yeah, it's just unfortunate that we have no idea what the heck it actually was.
Well, I just looked up these coins and they're darn cool, man. They're made out of silver and they glow in the dark.
Oh, nice.
I know, right? I want one really bad now.
They ship internationally for now.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Get it before the tariffs kick in, though.
Most governments will ship their coins anywhere as long as you buy them, right?
Yeah.
Well, what are your thoughts on this incident, Dan?
Well, I've been on a kick of looking at Canadian unexplained incidents lately and just kind of curious to see what people aren't talking about. But this one sticks out to me because there was a physical sign of something being present, not just a story that, oh yeah, I saw them, but they left no evidence whatsoever. So it's interesting that there was an investigation, there was something documented, and we don't know what it is still. I doubt it was military equipment because that just seems far too functional.
I'm not real convinced about the circles in the ground. I'll be honest with you. I've seen photos of supposedly circles left by UFOs. There's a few of them out there. It's something that's reported quite often. I think this would be a close encounter of the second kind, right? If they need physical evidence. I'm not quite positive, but I know I've heard of circles being left before. I'm not totally convinced. I've seen some people who have analyzed the vegetation underneath the circles and seen people say that they look like that they look like they were affected by heat and other strange things. But again, I'm just not convinced. I've never seen anybody who was really qualified to do a really extensive bit of research into these things. Like here we have an RCMP, right? Policeman's out there in the field. I don't know how much of an expert he is on UFO circles. Do you know where I'm coming from?
Yeah. I mean, he's probably an expert in shenanigans.
Yeah, but I mean, like if he's seen something he hasn't seen before, okay, this is a circle, and the farmer's telling me that he saw a UFO, so this circle has to be connected to the UFO. I'm not sure that we can make that connection. That's all I'm saying. No,
I mean, that's fair. I mean,
we don't even know if the farmer Edwin Furr was the farmer. We don't know if Edwin went out there and made those circles and then made the call too.
Yeah,
I know that the RCMP report says that there was no sign of somebody driving up, but it doesn't say anything about somebody walking up. So,
well, yeah, okay. I didn't have much more than it was an interesting story, I guess, but
it is an interesting story. I'll give you that. It is. I mean, I'm not gonna discount it as an interesting story. It is. I'm just not gonna. I don't want to say that it's something true, or it's something that certainly doesn't convince me. That's where I guess I'm going with it. But it's definitely an interesting story.
Yeah. If you've never looked into how people make crop circles, it's actually pretty cool. And you can see by virtue of the way they do it that, yeah, it would leave no trace behind, because you essentially, all you do is you just get a board and then you attach like 2 strings to it. And then you just stomp on the board and walk forward and it flattens everything in front of you. And, you're not using machinery or equipment, like heavy equipment or anything like that. So you can walk in, do it, and walk out. And it just looks like it was put there by by something, but it's just a person. So yeah, did the guy do this, or was it something that we just don't know what the heck it was? What we can say is that everything about this incident seems to be unidentified. So that's the only conclusion we can really make.
Wait, did Dan, did you find any of this story convincing yourself, or I'm not going to hold it against you if you did, so don't be afraid to say that you did. So
I wouldn't say convinced. It's just one of those ones that I want to spend more time looking at if I ever have the extra time.
sure,
because there
and
was
the
something more
availability
than just a
information.
claim.
That seems like a big problem that I encounter when I find these incidents and I go to look more about them. I find out that there's really not a lot of information available sometimes.
Well, this is the most interesting thing to ever happen to that town. So we still talk.
Probably in Saskatchewan, completely.
It's kind of like
Saskatchewan.
That's the thing. How I don't understand how they got away. It's Saskatchewan. They'd have to leave the province to be out of sight.
It is pretty flat out there. So what? I had another question. I started laughing, and it popped out of my head because I started laughing. See, that was your fault, Dan. I'm going to hold you. I'm going to make. I'm going to blame it on you.
I am a poor influence on Kelley.
Do you know of any other incidents in Saskatchewan? I know there's several Canadian UFO incidents, but I'm not sure that the second guy's making out with the alien. I think. I know there's been other Canadian UFO incidents, but has there been any more in Saskatchewan, or is this like the big incident? Do you know?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I've got a Google search going for a few other things, but they seem to be sprinkled around the country.
I remember probably about, I'm thinking 8 or 10 years ago, I remember hearing about a UFO up in Ontario, I think.
Saskatchewan sounds like a Bigfoot sighting hotspot to me.
Yeah, it sure is. It is. Maybe
I figure
the UFOs were picking up and dropping off Bigfoot.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe Bigfoot is an alien.
I've heard that said before.
Oh, jeez.
You know, and I've actually read people trying to put correlations between UFOs and Bigfoot sightings. I've actually seen that done. You know, I've also seen another explanation for Bigfoot being dimensional doors. That Bigfoot comes through a dimensional door, stays for a couple of days, and goes back to its original dimension.
I heard that it's not the photographer's fault. Bigfoot is actually blurry.
Yeah. Which is scary to me that we have blurry animals running around the woods.
Oh.
What do you look like? I don't know. He was blurry before he attacked. I don't know what it was that attacked me.
Well, we do have a couple other calls on deck.
Yeah, I was going to say
the Saskatchewan incident. We don't really have anything else we can really do with that.
Right.
So.
I was going to say, Dan, I did want to thank you for calling. I do have a couple more. Well, I've gotten a lot of calls in the last couple of minutes. So I just looked and there was this many calls, and I looked again and it doubled in just like 2 minutes. So I'm going to let you go, Dan. Thanks for calling again. I always appreciate when you call. Call us back. Find out, see if you can find out more about it and give us a call back and update it.